Snow fell lightly on campus as Ayanna stepped off the bus, her steady footsteps echoing on the wet sidewalk. She wore a hand-me-down army jacket that had belonged to her father, olive green, worn but still imposing. Her eyes scanned the room, with the attention of someone who grew up in a home where any false move could be a strategic error. Westdale University looked like something out of a catalog. Red brick buildings, white columns, flags flying in pinpoint perfection. And people, white, people everywhere. Fake smiles, curious glances, and others not so much. New around here? A blonde girl near the entrance to the women's wing asked, her smile more like a trap than a kindness. Yes, Ayanna replied, curt but firm. Well, welcome to Westdale. Brace yourself. This is a place of tradition. There was something else in the tone of the sentence, a veiled threat. And Ayanna noticed. In the dorm, she met Zeke, the only familiar face amid the tide of white. He greeted her with a fist bump. They're already watching you. Whatever you do, don't react, never react. They like it that way. She just nodded. But he noticed. Her eyes weren't the eyes of someone who takes orders. They were strategic eyes. Eyes that never forget. In the first class, the teacher barely said her name. Giggles in the background. An eraser flew toward her. Ayanna didn't look back. But that night, she called home. Mom, I'm home. They've started. On the other end of the line, a calm, almost sweet voice. Understood. Your father will be happy to know. The next day, the weather was colder and the looks even sharper. Ayanna was crossing the hallway of the girls' dormitory with her engineering book under her arm when she bumped into, or was she pushed, by a girl with light eyes and a mocking laugh. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there in the dark. Laughter echoed from a group in the corner. Ayanna stopped. She took a deep breath. She didn't say a word. Zeke appeared as if he didn't want anything. He approached her and spoke only with his eyes. Chill out. But he knew she wasn't the type to explode. The problem was something else, she observed, and she observed well. That night, Claire Whitman, the senator's daughter, came into the cafeteria, pretty, discreet, and surrounded by a group that always seemed ready for a cruel prank. She noticed Ayanna sitting alone, reading. Something bothered her, but she looked away. She sat with the Ivy line. Jared Boone, the leader, approached Claire with an air of someone who had everything under control. The new girl has presence, doesn't she? She looks like she came straight out of a war movie. Maybe she just wants to study in peace, Jared. Peace? Here? Claire, here we teach you how things work. As the laughter continued, Ayanna looked up from her book, and for a moment, Claire thought she was looking right at her. But no. She stared at the reflection in the window behind the group, like someone who already knows that everything there is a game. A war game. Later, in the dorm, Zeke appeared with a white envelope. They left this in your locker. No return. Address. Ayanna opened it. A newspaper clipping, an old news story. Fort Lansing military base explosion. Brooks family survives unscathed. Zeke frowned. Does this have anything to do with you? She just folded the paper, put it back in the envelope, and said, Now they've made their first mistake. Zeke swallowed hard. Ayanna, who are you, really? She smiled for the first time, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind of smile that scares the guilty in their hearts. Someone who knows how to wait. Ayanna had already learned the schedules, the less traveled paths. She knew how far the teachers really paid attention, but she didn't know, yet, how far Jared Boone and his cronies were willing to go. On Monday morning, Ayanna woke up to the sound of movement in the hallway, muffled laughter, strange noises, a strong smell. When she opened the door, the sight was clear. Someone had thrown horse manure in front of her room. There was also a black doll, hanging upside down, with a note tied to it. Some places are not for everyone. Go back to the stable. Silence. The girls on the floor looked out from behind the half-open doors. Some were holding back laughter. Others, just motionless. Ayanna stood there, still. Without blinking, she observed everything. From the end of the hallway, Claire appeared. She looked at the scene, then looked at Ayana, and for the first time she looked away out of embarrassment, not fear. Zeke came running from the other block. "They're out of line. We're going to the rectory now." Ayana looked up. "No." "What do you mean, no? That's a crime?" "Ayana." She bent down, picked up the doll gently, and threw it into the trash bag. Then she stepped over the manure as if she were stepping on something irrelevant. "Let them laugh. They've already moved. Now it's our turn." Zeke didn't understand, but she seemed too calm. That night, as the Ivy line gathered at Jared's house to laugh at the joke, a black pickup truck pulled up on the other side of town. A black man got out with firm steps, heavy boots, and a sharp look. Tyson Brooks. He went to an old video store, where he took an envelope, hidden in a fake bookshelf. Inside were blueprints of the university, access routes, photos of the Ivy Line members. On the back of one of them, Ayana's handwriting. It started. "Choose one." Quietly. Meanwhile, Claire couldn't sleep. The image of the hanging doll haunted her. Her father always said, "Don't get involved, the world doesn't change with good intentions." But that girl didn't ask for mercy, didn't beg, didn't break. The next morning, Claire left an anonymous note under Ayana's door, "You're not alone." But they won't stop. Ayana read it, folded it, and burned it in the dorm ashtray. Then she wrote in a notebook, "Even gold has to go through fire." Across campus, Jared woke up to a strange humming. His car, a '69 Mustang, had no tires. There was a piece of paper taped to the windshield with letters cut out of magazines. "You're fast, but we're patient." He laughed, thinking it was a hazing from another fraternity. But the feeling of being watched stayed there, steady, cold. And from afar, Tyson watched, with the same look he'd learned on the battlefield, one step at a time, but no turning back. The campus was too quiet for a Thursday. Jared Boone walked with his head down, saying little. His friends tried to laugh about what had happened to the car, but he didn't. He knew something was wrong. In physics class, Ayana had answered a difficult question before the teacher had even finished speaking. The room went silent. Some laughed, embarrassed. Others were impressed. Jared just watched her. On the way out, Ayana passed Claire in the hallway. The two locked eyes for a second. Claire tried to smile. Ayana didn't smile back, but she didn't look away either. In the parking lot, Zeke saw a tall, black man in a worn leather jacket, standing next to a dark pickup truck. He was looking out at the campus like someone calculating a storm. Zeke approached cautiously. "Are you looking for someone?" The man looked him straight in the eye. "You're her friend, Ayana." Zeke tensed. "Who are you?" "Someone who protects what's his." Tyson lit a cigarette and exhaled slowly. "Tell me, who's the worst of them all?" Zeke hesitated. "Jared. But there's more. They're a pack. Packs fall apart, one by one." Before Zeke could ask more, the man had already turned his back and disappeared between the cars. That same night, Jared's laptop froze in the middle of a job. He cursed, tried to restart it. Nothing. The next morning, an image appeared when he turned on the computer, a montage of all the Ivy Line members in pig masks. And a file attached, history of infractions, grade tampering, illegal hazing, bribery. He deleted everything in despair. But someone had already received copies, the ethics professor, the campus director, and Claire. Meanwhile, in the girls' dormitory, one of the girls who had mocked Ayana was in despair when she discovered that her diary had been scanned and sent to her father, a conservative military man. It contained details about parties, drugs, and a secret relationship with a teaching assistant. Ayana watched the girl crying in the hallways. Zeke, standing next to her, asked, "Was it you?" She replied, "Of course not." Zeke glared. "But you know who it was." She closed the book she was reading. "Zeke, when you fight pigs, you both get dirty. The difference is the pig likes it." Zeke didn't know whether to be scared or amazed. "You're dangerous," she smiled. "A little." "No, I only learn from the best." Tyson sat alone. He drank a soda. He watched everything. A man in a suit walked by him whispering, "Your next target is on the list. But be careful. He has ties to the senator." Ayanna crossed the administration corridor with silent but sure steps. It was the first time she had been called to the dean's office. The email said, "Urgent. Mandatory attendance." Zeke waited, outside, anxious. "Do you have any idea what this is?" "Yes." "And are you going to tell me?" "No." She went in. In the room were Principal Evelyn Carson, the ethics professor, and, sitting in a dark corner, Jared Boone. The principal adjusted her glasses. "Miss Brooks, we are faced with a serious accusation. We have received a dossier indicating that you hacked into several students' computers and circulated personal information. We even have images." Ayanna showed no reaction. "Images?" Jared smiled, almost triumphant. The principal turned. The monitor. A printout with Ayanna's name as the user on a remote terminal. Ayanna looked at it for 2 seconds. Then she calmly answered, "These images have been manipulated. Someone tried to create a trail back to me. That's elementary." "And why would they do that?" She stared at Jared. Then she looked back at the principal. "Because someone here doesn't know how to lose." Meanwhile, in another state, Layla Brooks, in her dimly lit room with monitors everywhere, chewed on a lollipop as she typed furiously. "Want to play Forge a Trail? Fine. Let's see how Jared likes to look like a stalker obsessed with animal porn." She smiled, satisfied. Just 3 more clicks, and the big boy's dark past will go viral. Jared's face appeared on the screen, next to files planted with surgical precision. Layla murmured, "That's why Daddy always said never mess with people with root access." Later that day, on campus, the buzz began. "Did you see? Jared's being investigated by IT. Someone went through his computer and found some bizarre files. And now the principal wants to know who planted it all." In the library, Claire approached Ayanna, lowering her voice. "Was it you?" "Of course not." For the 1,000th time, Ayanna told the truth perfectly. "Jared is in shock. He's gone." Ayanna closed the book and looked out the window. "He's not gone, he's backing away." "You planned this all since the prank, right?" Ayanna turned, looking Claire in the eye. "Do you really think a girl like me would come alone to a place like this?" Claire paled. Later, Tyson radioed Layla. "The field is clear. Next target?" Layla answered lightly. "The ethics teacher is helping Ivy Line. There's a secret hidden in an account at Colorado Bank. I found the password on the classroom Wi-Fi. Ayanna will love it." Saturday afternoon, Central Library. Claire nervously leafed through a folder she found inside Jared's locker. It shouldn't have been there, but he hadn't been in since Friday. And she knew the password. What she saw wasn't just compromising, it was criminal. There were emails exchanged with the ethics professor, Dr. Morton, about grade alteration, bank deposits in anonymous accounts, photos of vulnerable classmates used as blackmail material. Claire trembled. This was big. But reporting, it meant burning herself with the group, and with her father. She didn't notice Ayanna watching her from afar. Minutes later, in the back of the library, "Did you find what you were looking for?" Claire turned around, startled. "What are you doing here?" Ayanna walked up to her, calm, a book under her arm. "You have the eyes of someone who has just lost faith. But sometimes, the truth comes to free us, not to destroy us. Are you watching me?" "I am watching. That's what your group did to me." Claire held the folder tightly. "If I turn this in, my name will go with it." "You don't have to turn it in. You just have to disappear for a while. The rest, I'll take care of it." Claire looked into her eyes. For the first time, she saw something that wasn't anger or contempt. It was hard compassion, like someone who's been through wars. "You're dangerous, Ayana." "I'm fair. The difference is that no one here is used to that." Meanwhile, Tyson followed Dr. Morton discreetly. The professor entered a roadside hotel and met a man in a suit. They talked quickly in low voices. They exchanged envelopes. Tyson took pictures. He got the license plate. He smiled. At the same moment, a message arrived on his cell phone. "Layla, ready to blow up the ethics of the campus? There's an audio recording on the university system I'm in now. I just need permission." He replied. Let Ayana press the button. In the dorm, night, Ayana looked at her laptop with headphones on. She heard the recording sent by Layla. "Just take 2 points off Ayana's average. The girl needs to learn where she belongs." Dr. Morton's voice. She closed the laptop slowly. Zeke, on the other side of the room, watched. "Are you going to release this?" "Not yet. First, I want to see if Claire has the courage to stand up for herself." Zeke raised an eyebrow. "Do you trust her?" Ayana looked out the window where the snow was beginning to fall. "Of course not, but even Judas played an important role in the story." Sunday, local church. Claire went to Mass with her parents. During the sermon, the pastor said, "Sometimes the truth comes with thorns, but without it, the field does not bloom." She returned home, went straight to the computer, and sent the folder with the scanned documents to the student newspaper. Anonymously. At the end of the message, she wrote, "Justice has no face, but it has time." Monday, University Auditorium. The campus was buzzing. Notifications popped up on cell phones. Headlines from the student newspaper. Ethics professor involved in scandal with Ivy Line students. Accusations of bribery, blackmail, and grade fixing. In the front row of the auditorium, Ayana sat as if watching a long-awaited show. Dr. Morton was called to the stage by Principal Evelyn Carson. Jared Boone was in the back, sweating cold. Claire watched everything with her heart racing. And then the video was shown. Voice recording, documents, screenshots. The audience reacted with shock, boos, screams. Students filmed everything. Social media exploded. The silent reign of the Ivy Line had been exposed after the scandal. Dr. Morton was immediately removed for investigation. Jared, trying to keep his cool, called an informal press conference in front of the dorm. "This is all a setup. Clearly someone is trying to sabotage my future out of jealousy." Ayana walked past him without stopping, but she stopped. She took 2 steps back. She looked straight into his eyes with the calm of someone who had won. "Jealousy? You've always had everything. I just didn't know what to do with it. You have no evidence against me." She smiled at the corner of her mouth. "It's not always about proving it. Sometimes it's just about letting everyone see who you really are." The students around her, previously silent accomplices, now applauded. Jared was speechless. In the hallway, Claire and Ayana Claire caught up with her later. "You knew it would all happen like this, didn't you?" Ayana replied without turning around. "I knew the truth moved slowly, but enough is enough. You used me. You took a stand. That's worth more than your guilt." Claire took a deep breath. Ayana stepped back. "You could be president, you know?" Ayana smiled without showing her teeth. "I'd rather be the kind of person who takes down bad presidents." Meanwhile, Tyson and Layla watched on TV in an empty cafeteria. Layla sipped her iced tea. She was good, she didn't shed a tear. Tyson glanced at the screen, then at his sister. She hasn't started yet. Wednesday, principal's office. Evelyn Carson leafed through a newly arrived file on her desk. It was thick, stamped with the Texas Department of Juvenile Justice stamps. Jared Boone's name shone on the cover like a visual punch. Claire sat in front of it, tense. "Are you sure you want to turn this in officially, Claire?" "I am." The principal stared at the young woman for a long moment. Then she made a call. "Bring Miss Brooks to my office." Hours earlier, Claire was impulsively going through an old email from Jared. She found an encrypted attachment. She used a password she had seen on a post-it note once, years ago. The contents? A police report, witness accounts, a hushed-up case. Jared Boone and two other boys nearly beat a young Latino man to death at a party in Dallas, 1970. The case was dropped after political interference. The victim's name, Miguel Reyes. Scholarship student, relative of university. Employees, Claire cried. For the first time, she felt disgusted with herself for having kept quiet for so long. In the principal's office, Ayanna walked in. Claire was there. Silence. Evelyn was blunt. Ayanna, you have a right to see this. She handed over the file. Ayanna leafed through it without emotion, just absorbing it. This is serious, and it needs to come to light, but not for me. For those who suffered. Claire bit her lip. I know Miguel's son. He works at the library. Ayanna nodded. She lowered her eyes, then lifted her chin, then let it be him. Friday, student newspaper special edition cover. Son of racist attack victim reveals truth about Jared Boone. 1970 cold case resurfaces with never-before-seen documents. The campus was thrown into chaos. Jared was officially suspended from the university. Parents began to pressure the administration. The other members of the Ivy Line began to distance themselves from him. Jared, isolated, locked in his dorm room, broke the mirror with a punch. In the girls' dorm, Zeke read the headline to Ayanna. She listened, calmly braiding her hair. You knew that from the beginning? I knew he was hiding something. But the best way to take someone's mask off is to give them a stage. Zeke laughed, half in awe, half in fear. You're like a revolution in a wool sweater. Ayanna smiled. Revolutions don't need to scream. They just need to last. Monday. Parking lot of a supermarket near campus. Ayanna was getting out with a bag of groceries when she noticed something. Her car's tires were slashed. On the hood, scratched with a key, was a word. Dirt. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She just took a deep breath. But inside the car behind her, with the tinted windows, someone was watching. A camera click. A mischievous smile. Half an hour later, the phone rang in an apartment downtown. Tyson? Speak, sis. Ayanna calmly told her what had happened. He didn't interrupt. When she finished, he simply said, Understood, and hung up. That night, off campus, 3 of the last members of the Ivy Line were in a bar, laughing quietly, thinking the chaos had cooled down. One of them said, Did you see her face when she found the car? I bet she's sleeping with the light on. At that moment, Tyson walked in. No one knew him, but he already knew the faces, the names, the habits. He sat at the counter. He ordered a coffee. He listened. On the way out, he followed one of the boys to the side alley. He didn't say anything. He just grabbed the boy's arm hard enough to make him kneel. Tyson spoke softly. I know where your mother works. I know your father is hiding a lover in Arizona. And I know you messed with the wrong person. He let the boy go. Tell them that every action has a price, and the bill has arrived. The next day, Dean's office principal Carson called Ayanna for an informal conversation. I know tensions have been rising. We're trying to protect your image. The board is considering putting you on campus as a representative for a national diversity project. Ayanna interrupted her. I don't need a pat on the back. Would you turn down an opportunity like that? Sure. To be a symbol of something that hasn't changed yet? No, thank you. I belong on the ground where I walk, not on a banner. Silence. Ayanna stood. And principal, protect your students, not the donations. And left. Meanwhile, Layla. In her dark room, Layla was sending a file to the student council, a detailed analysis of the financial transactions of Ivy Line members with links to parties sponsored by money, embezzled from the library budget. She murmured as the progress went up, You can erase names, But the code leaves traces. Zeke watched everything. Zeke met Tyson briefly in a parking lot. "You're her brother, right?" Tyson just nodded. "She seems calm, but she's a volcano inside." Tyson laughed. "She learned to burn without smoke." Tuesday, late afternoon. The campus was quieter than usual. The Ivy Line scandal had spread out of state. News reports, interviews, investigations were underway. But there was one problem. The interim dean, allied with old donors, wanted to shut it all down. Silence. Restore order. Ayanna was called to another meeting, this time with lawyers. Everything seemed formal, but the message was clear. Enough. She listened to it all, then replied, "You're not trying to protect the school. You're protecting a rotten legacy. Be careful with your words, Ms. Brooks. No. You should be careful with your actions." And she left. Later in the library, Claire sat alone, surrounded by papers. She had been helping Ayanna behind the scenes, but she was afraid of being pushed out, or worse, of being cut off, politically by her own family. Zeke came in and set a folder next to her. "This is from Ayanna for you." She opened it. It was a handwritten letter. "I don't expect you to fight battles that aren't yours, but I appreciate you not pretending they don't exist." Claire cried. Alone. For the first time in peace. Wednesday. A new threat emerges. An anonymous email circulates among the students, accusing Ayanna of having fabricated evidence against Jared with help from outside hackers. It's false, but convincing. Someone wants her expelled. Zeke hacks into the university newspaper, asks for a surprise interview. In Ayanna's place. "She didn't do it alone. I was the one who took the photos. I was the one who hacked into the library system. If anyone's going to go down, it's me." "Are you sure what you're doing?" asks the editor. Zeke just nods and smiles. Result: Zeke is suspended. Ayanna finds him sitting on the steps of the dorm, packing his things. "You didn't have to do this. You've held the weight of the world for long enough." She hugs him, hard, for the first time. She cries fast, quietly. "That's not fair." "It's not. But justice is not the same as revenge. You taught me that." Later that night, Layla sends one last cryptic message. The dean has illegal contracts with security companies, all documented. If you want to take him down, now is the time. Ayanna looks out the window. The snow-covered campus seems quiet, but the world is on fire, and she knows. Thursday, main auditorium. Packed. Dean Evelyn Carson took the stage, her expression tense. The students waited. Faculty, staff, press. The interim dean was not present. He had resigned the night before after a leak of documents, exposed fraud, phantom contracts, and embezzlement. The name behind the leak? None. Just the signature. He who reaps what he sows what is right. Ayanna declined the applause. She stood at the back of the audience, silent, while the newspapers called her a symbol, a heroine, a voice of change. Zeke, back after his suspension was revoked, approached. "They want you to give a speech." "I've done what I needed to do." "What now? Are you going to stay here?" She smiled, but without any shine. "I did what I came to do. Now it's time to make room for others to stand up too." Last day, girls' dormitory. Ayanna was closing her suitcase. Beside it, a letter. It was from Director Carson. "The university needs voices like yours. We'd like you to stay and join our new Student Ethics Council." Ayanna put the letter away without answering. Outside, Claire waited with 2 coffees. "Are you really leaving?" "I wasn't raised to sit at the table of those who spilled blood. I was raised to build another table." "You changed everything here?" "Maybe. But the important thing is that now, they know we're not sleeping anymore." Last scene, train station. Snow was falling slowly. Ayanna was waiting for the train with a backpack and a book. Tyson arrived and hugged his sister. Layla got out of the car and handed over an envelope. Before and after photos. For when you want to remember. Ayana opened it. The empty courtyard. Jared being taken away. Zeke being applauded by students who had previously ignored him. Claire giving a firm speech about ethics. A sign. Ayana Brooks Academic Center for Justice and Equality. She smiled. Small. True. I don't deserve this. Tyson replied, no one plants justice expecting a medal. They plant it so that others may eat the fruit. And the train left. Ayana left without promising to return. But she left something greater than her presence. Example, truth, root, and the certainty that good, even silent, does not go unnoticed by God. Do you like love stories? Those stories full of romance, emotion, and of course happy endings or maybe just endings? Have you ever experienced a moment so strange or unusual that it seemed straight out of a movie? Then you're in the right place. Here, we love to share stories that touch the heart, inspire, and make you think. But we want to hear from you. Share in the comments your love story, that special moment, or even something that made you believe in the power of true feelings. Maybe your experience will inspire us to tell a new story in the future. Imagine seeing your story transformed into a tale that can move other people around the world. And if you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like. This not only motivates me, but also shows me that sharing these experiences makes a difference. After all, together we can create a space full of love, empathy, and good stories. So come on, like, comment, and of course share. Maybe the next chapter will be inspired by you.